This lesson we'll talk about compositing an action film. And this is the video we're going to create at the end of the video. All right, so first let's go to the footage folder and import all of our footages. Okay, so first we're going to create a composition which is for the scene, but instead of drag the background image to create a composition, we're going to use a different way. The reason is because, see, if you take a look at these two backgrounds, okay, these are for the two different shots, one for scene 1, another for scene 2, okay. But if you take a look at their dimension is different, right? So let's say if we just do create a composition this way, the first composition dimension will be 1280 times 1024, but the second scene, it will be much bigger. The video, the canvas will be much bigger. And later on, if we put them together in the movie, the dimensions different, so you're going to bring some trouble. Okay, so if you have multiple shots, we need to decide a standard canvas size, a standard dimension for your video. So here we're going to go to composition, new composition, and manually create a composition instead of doing the old way. So first I want you to unlock the aspect ratio. And for the width, we're going to put 1920, and height, we're going to put 1080. So this is a standard HD TV video. See, if I put this value here, it's going to automatically bring in the presets. Okay, so frame rates, I will do 24. So let me explain this a little bit. 24 is standard for film, and 8 and 12 is standard for stop motion animation. Because for stop motion animation, you are taking photos of your doll, your character, and composite the photos to an animation. So if you do 24 frames per second for stop motion animation, that means for each second, you have to take 24 photos for 1 second of animation, right? So it's not a lot of work. So usually animator would do 8 or 12 for stop motion animation. 25 is standard for TV production. So if you are making a video for a TV show, use 25. And 30 and 29.97 are also common for film, but more common for independent movie. For example, if you grab a camera and shoot a few scenes and add it to a movie, usually your camera setting will be similar like this, the frame rates. 60 and 59 and 120 are standard for video game. Okay, so we're going to do 24 for today. And for duration, we're going to set as 10 seconds. 0 hours, 0 minutes, 10 seconds, and 0 frames. Okay, so with this setting, I'm going to press OK. And after you create it, you can rename your composition by just hit return key on it. And you can put SC01, which means shot 1. Okay. And here's a preview of your composition. Right now, we don't have anything in it. So now let's bring in our background image inside here. So now you can see that the dimension is different than our composition, right? So what we can do is we can go to transform and scale it up, or we can simply just select this layer, hit S key for scale it up. Okay. And then we have to work on our character. So let's bring in our first actor in here. And you can see that also the dimension doesn't match with our composition dimension. So we're going to scale her up. So if you put 150 here, it should perfectly match the scene because our Kilner's video is a half of our composition's dimension. Okay, so now our character get a green color background. Remember how we get rid of a background color in our previous lessons? How we done that? We use the color range, right? Well, that still works in our case, but today we're going to try something different. Okay, so I'm going to try right-click, effect, and keying. Oh, it's out of frame. So key light 1.2 is out of my frame for recording. Okay, so once you applied it, you should see this effect, key light 1.2. It's under effect control. So for a screen color, you're going to click on this color picker and pick up a green color. Would like to record this screen. We're going to, I have to change the system setting. Sorry. Click on OK. All right. So now we have to decide where we should click. So I don't recommend you click here or here because here is too bright, right? Because our color, you can see the luminance, it goes from this spot and then the darker point to here. So if you pick out here, your color might be too dark and it will not cover the whole range. So usually I will pick up a color which is in the center color tone, which is around here or around the shoulder. So if you pick up color, let me go back one step. If you pick up color here, the brightest color is similar to it. The dark color is also similar to it. So you're gonna cover a broad range of color tone. Okay, so pick up the color. So now you can see that it's disappeared. Okay, so now if I play, you can see that there's still some noise. See that? See if I hide the background. Okay, is that obvious? Okay, so what we can do is, let me just keep the background hidden. So let's select our character. Let's increase the screen gain, increase a little bit. So maybe about 118, it should disappear. But now you can see that because our character is also wearing black color clothes, it's very hard to see if the footage here is very clean or not. So we can click on here, the toggle transparency gray. Remember in last lesson, we have talked about in After Effects, you can switch a different display mode to show the transparent gray or black color background as transparent. Okay, so if we toggle the transparent gray, now we can get closer to the scene. So now we can see that we get some problem. As I increase the intensity of the K-Line 1.2 effects, our character also get half transparent. You can see the transparent grid also kind of translating through our character clothes. Okay, so the reason why this happens is because, see if I hide this effect, the reason why this happens is because our character is wearing high reflective clothes, and also the gun is kind of a reflective. It reflects the green color. So when we remove the green color, we also remove the green color on the clothes, so it made it half transparent. So what should we do? So now, if we go underneath the K-Line 1.2 effects, my mouse is jumpy. Okay, and go to the screen matte, and you should find clip black and clip white, right? So let's see, if we drop down clip white, see, we can bring some value back, right? And also, take a look over here on my screen. There's still a little bit of noise there. See that? Okay, so what I gonna do is I'm going to rise up clip black to about 10, so it'll make it much cleaner. So now I get some value back on the character and removed more value on the background. Okay, so what exactly does the clip black and clip white mean, the screen matte? Let me show you here. So if I turn the view, the current display mode from final result to screen matte, you're gonna make more sense. Okay, so you know what is a mask, right? Where I have covered this in Photoshop project. So in this mask, anything that is marked in white color is gonna show up. Anything marked in black color is gonna disappear. Okay, so what if I just change the clip black back to 0 and the clip white back to 100? Now it should make more sense. So you can see that the background here is not pure black. It still has some dark gray color. Okay. And also if you take a look of the mask for our character, there's still some gray color on the character. Okay, so that means the mask is not solid black and solid white. So the character gonna be transparent around this area. The background also gonna be half transparent around this area. Does that make sense? So basically, if I change the screen matte here, clip black, if I do 10, So you're going to make the dark area, the clean black color, kind of a darker. And if I do clean white, if I reduce it to about like 50, I'm gonna increase the brightness of the white area on the mask. So that will make this area solid. So this is a screen matte, and then the final result will be this area will be solid, and this area will be purely transparent. Okay, so I hope that makes sense. And then let's take a look of the detail. So if I zoom in, you can see that the edge is a little bit rough. Okay, so somewhere has a hard cut. Okay, so what we can do, we can go to screen shrink. Okay, so if you get some noises you want to get rid of, for especially here you have some dark color, see that dark color hard cut edges, so we can shrink it by 1 pixel. Screen shrink. Okay, if it doesn't make sense, you see if I put -4, does that make sense? So by put -4 it shrink more, but here I'll just shrink just 1 pixel. Okay, see this is original. Okay, and this is 1 pixel, and just shrink 1 pixel. And then you can also yeah, my computer is kind of getting slower. You notice that its response has some delay. So for softness, we can also soften the edge a little bit. So we can put 1. See the result, the differences, and this is the before. Okay, and this is after. So we want to soften the edge a little bit because our character here is moving very quick, and it's not supposed to have a very solid edge. Okay, so that's the setting of it. Okay, and now we should get a clean character. And if we turn on the background, here's how it looks. Okay, another thing is, let's see. When a character get out with the gun, she's gonna shoot. So if you do film, you know that we should keep plenty of space on this area in front of a character, right? And we shouldn't waste a lot of space behind the character. So what we can do is we can select our character and just move her to the left, and make sure the bottom, see the bottom should actually go out of frame, so you don't want to see the hard cut. So now we're gonna shoot. We should have plenty of space in front of her. Maybe just put a little bit closer to the center, but still to the left. Okay, so she's rolling and shoot. Okay. So here, next step, we're gonna change the color of her. So you can see that the background is in blue color tone, but our character, because the footage is filmed in the studio, we use the studio lights, so the character is super warm. So what we can do is we can apply a go to effects, go to effects and go to color correction, is here, and then go to hue saturation, which is here. Okay, color correction, hue saturation. So now first we want to remove the saturation a little bit. Okay, somewhere around -75. So this will take out some of the warm colors, and then we're going to add some blue color tone on it. Okay, so what we can do is we can just right click on the empty spot in the scene and go to new and solid. And for this solid color, we can here we can click on this color picker and then pick up a blue color in the scene. Maybe it's here, or maybe here or here. So it depends on what color tone you have in the background. And click on OK and create. So this solid color will be on top of everything. We'll just use it as a color mask. Okay. And then let's right click on this layer, this color layer, and go to blending mode and go to color. So now, see, this is without it, this is with it. So now it feels some blue color to the background. Okay, and then we're going to go to is opacity channel. So if you hit T, T is for opacity or transparent, or you can simply just unfold this layer. Under its transform, you should find opacity. Okay, and lower it down. So we'll only put about 20 to 25%. So this should fill some blue color to our character. So now our character is in a blue color tone. Okay. And then once our character keep this pose, and we should net her to shoot. So we're going to bring in shoot 01, this clip, and here we go. So this is the footage, and we can apply a Keylight 1.2 effect. So you can just right click on that here on this layer and go to effects and Keylight 1.2, and pick up the green color background. Here we go. Okay, and we're gonna go to the place where she's going to shoot. Maybe it's here. Okay, she's gonna shoot at here. So we're going to move this fire all the way to the right, and get to the point where the fire can come out, and then place the gunfire in front of her gun. And also remember, we have added a color adjusting layer, which is the blue color tone. So maybe we should also bring the gunfire underneath that layer. See, this is going to filters. This is going to film some blue color. See that? You're going to feel some blue color inside of our gunfire. So this is the first shot, and then second shot. You can see that because she moves, right? The gun moves. And the fire stay at the same the original spot. So maybe we should also move the gunfire as well. So what we can do is we can create a keyframe position keyframe. So select the shot 01, the fire, okay, the fireball, and for the position, create a position keyframe at the initial point, and then comes the second fire. And then move the position to the second fire. And here we go. So the fire will move along with the gun. All right, this is how it looks. Okay. Rolling and shoot. Okay, so we've done the first shot. So in the in-person class setting, I usually would ask you to work on the second scene, okay, for practice. So it will have exactly the same workflow. But here, since we are doing the online class for this week, so I'm gonna do it together with you. So for the second background, as I mentioned, the dimension is different, right? So again, we should create a new composition manually and have the same setting, and create and rename it. Okay, and then in the composition, bring in the background. And if the background is too big or too small, use the scale channel to adjust it. In our case, is too big, so maybe we should scale it down. And we can reference our first shot. So first shot, you can see that if I hide my killer, see the background here, the car model is at the left corner. So maybe in our second shot, we should also bring the car model here, and our male character gonna be on this side. And also maybe we should make our background a little bit bigger. So this will make audience feel that these two shots are in the same space. Okay. And then let's bring our second killer. And now I'm gonna move a little bit faster, and I'm gonna go to scale and increase the scale to 150%, and use the Keylight 1.2 effect. So instead of right click on it and go to effects, you can also go to the effect panel and just type in the effect you want to use. Okay, and increase the value a little bit. And here I would temporarily hide the background so I can take a look of the scene. So our second footage also does exactly the same issue. So we can simply just increase the clip white a little bit, maybe about 15, and clip black will decrease it to a value that our character will be starting. And we can also change the screen shrink to -1 and screen softness, the edge softness as 1. Okay, and also we can bring our character down a little bit because you can see that our original footage have the ground. Okay, and also move him to this side because he gonna shoot to his left. So we want to leave some space at the left. And show the background, and this is how it looks. And we're gonna use the same setting for color adjusting. Okay, so you can apply color correction and create a color panel, or I would do this. Because the video artist is always very lazy, so I can simply select a killer 1 and select the hue saturation effect I applied, Command C copy, and switch to scene 2 and select a killer 2 and Command V paste. So this is gonna paste the hue saturation effect applied on the female character. You're gonna copy it from the female character and paste it onto the male character. And then I can also go back to first scene and copy that blue solid layer I created, and come back to scene 2 and Command V to paste. See how quick is that? Okay, so now we have the same setting, and we're going to add the fire. So we're going to drop in shot 02, which is the second fire, and I'm going to apply Killer 1.2 effects, and we're going to remove the background. Okay, so now take a look at the fire. So if we go to the position that our male character get out the gun and ready to shoot, so he will start to shoot here, and then I will sync the fireball with the action. So start to shoot here. All right, so now let's take a look of our gunfire, the muzzle flash. It actually goes to the opposite way, right? So you should go from right to left. Remember how we flip a layer, how we mirror a layer? In our last lesson, I taught about this. So we can simply go to the scale channel, uncheck the link. So we're going to unlink the x-axis and the y-axis, and simply just put a minus sign in front of the x value. So you're going to mirror it along y-axis. Okay, and then we're going to also position it on the gun, and go to position channel, create position at this spot because the gun is slightly moved. So as I go to the second shot, I'm going to move the fire to the new position. So now the fire is going to move along with the gun's movement. Okay. All right. So now let's take a look of the logistic. So in first shot, our female character kind of shoot, right? And because we're going to put this together with the second shot, so first shot happened first. The female character started a fight. Maybe they are a couple, I don't know. But the woman is angry with this guy, and then this guy is fighting back, right? So we should add some reaction here. So when we go to the second shot, we should add some bullet hit on the vehicle. So we're going to bring in first. Let's bring in hit 01, and maybe the first bullet gonna hit in front of the vehicle, and we're going to also delay the time a little bit. So maybe after a few frames, the bullet hit gonna happen. I'm gonna change the blending mode to screen. Remember why I do this? Because I want to get rid of the black color background and only keep the lights. Okay, so now this is the first shot. Okay, first shot, and maybe second shot will happen around here. So we're gonna bring in our second hit and sync the time, and we're gonna do the exactly same thing, and we're gonna use a blending mode and screen. And this time we're going to let the bullet hit at the tail of the of the vehicle. So one shot, second shot, and finally our male character get angry. He decides to fight back. Okay. All right. So one set, 1, 2, and shoot. Okay. So that's it. And now let's put all of them together. So now we have 2 shots, right? So how to do a final editing, do a final movie. So you're going to go to composition, new composition. And for this composition, you can rename it final. And you can extend the time if you need more time. In your video, if each of the shot has longer than 8 seconds, together you're going to be 16 seconds, right? So in that case, you will change the time. But for our case, each shot only have around 3 seconds. So I think 10 seconds should be totally enough. So let's click on OK. So this is our final composition. This is our final composition. There's nothing in it. So what we should do is we're going to bring in both first shot and second shot. So let's bring in both of them, bring them in, okay? And let's temporarily hide the second shot so we can focus on the first one. So female character roll in and shoot, second shoot, and we're gonna cut it here. How to cut a scene? So the easiest way would be just put a cursor, see, at the end of this clip and just drag it. So as you turn the second half as gray color, basically it's going to cut it out. Okay, so you're going to cut it here. And then we're going to cut our second shot. So now let's hide our first shot and show the second shot. So the second shot ends around here. So I'm going to also cut the same way to cut. Okay, and then we're going to connect them together. So we're going to select the second shot and move it to the right and let it start from where. So if I zoom in on the timeline, it could be easier for us to see. So I want to bring in the second shot, connect it to the end of the first shot, maybe here. So let them intersect 1 frame. Okay. So now if oh, sorry, I forgot to turn on it. That's why it doesn't show up. So now this is the first shot, this is the second shot, connect them together. And then you can see that the whole movie only have about 5 seconds, 16 frames, and after that is turned to empty, right? So we can cut the whole composition here because we don't want to export a video that half of it don't have any content. So what we can do, we can either right click on the empty spot here, go to composition setting, add a final composition here. Right click and go to composition setting, or we can simply just select our final composition, right click and go to composition setting. And see, our current time is 5 seconds, 16 frames, and the video content is stopped at here. So we can simply go to the composition setting and just change the time. So duration, we can put 5 seconds, frames, we can put 16 frames. So this is going to, if you click on empty spot, see, this is going to cut your current composition at here. And click on OK to confirm the change. So here we go. All right, so once you've done, you can export your movie. Go to File, Export, Add to Media Encoder. And I already talked about how to render a video using media encoder in last class. So you should already know how to do that. Cool, so that's all for this lesson. And if you understand all of the concept, you are good.